The volume in this stadium is about to ramp up. There are thousands of Ethiopians on the back straight, and they are all here to watch the men's 5,000 meters. What a lineup this is. Three brothers from Norway. Is it Jakob Ingebrigtsen's time to shine? European champion, but this is different gravy. This is the global competition. Kameli, former African junior champion. Telehun Bekele, fifth in the World Juniors last year. He's the fastest man in the world this year with 12:52. That came in Rome. Watch out for Paul Chelimo, Olympic silver, World Championship bronze. Now that Mo Farah's gone, maybe it's his time for gold. Mukhtar Idris is the defending champion. He hasn't been in great form this year, although he looked better in qualification. Mahanu Baliu, another former Ethiopian, now representing Bahrain, Asian champion last year, 12:56 this season. Jakob Krop of Kenya, 55.1 on the last lap. And listen to the crowd and watch the introduction for Selemon Barega. Still a teenager, already the fourth fastest in history. And then the third of the three Ingebrigtsen brothers. Philip got a bronze in London over the 1,500 metres. Going here over the longer distance. The stage is set for an epic race. That's Heinrich with the moustache, the first of the three brothers to get a European medal. They're all ready for the party to start. There will be noise throughout this 12.5 laps. It's time for the final of the men's 5,000 metres. Selemon Barega up onto the shoulder of Hassan Mead, and they're already talking to each other, Mukhtar Idris and Selemon Barega. There will be some team tactics at play here. And don't forget Paul Chelimo. Silver in Rio, bronze in London. His spike came off in the heats. And he showed great composure to come through and win his place in the final. Ethiopia first, third and fifth. And all the Ethiopian fans are round by the 1,500 start, and they are going wild. Hope they realise we're only 300 metres in. They've got over 3 miles to go. Imagine what the noise will be like on the last lap. Idris first, Chelimo second. Barega is the smallest of the three Ethiopian figures with the spiky haircut. And Bekele, the find of the season, he's only just turned 20. He's in fifth, and the three brothers comfortable at the back of the group. Jakob is the taller of the three figures, and his other two brothers have readily admitted and wouldn't mind us acknowledging Jakob, the youngest there with the 1920s matinee idol swept over haircut, is the most talented of the three. And having got his PB for the 15 down to 3:30, if this is tactical, he'll fancy it. And it is the youngest of the three Ingebrigtsen brothers now paying closer attention to the front of the field. Jenny Meadows, the noise here, considering how early it is in the 5,000, is extraordinary.
This is an event that's been talked about the whole season long. We've got the Ethiopian Challenge. We've got Chelimo, who looks in great shape, haven't we? Idris has come back. He's not looked great. Obviously the reigning world champion. We've got the Norwegian Challenge. We've got the Kenyan Challenge, and we've got so other many guys who's made this final. This final took a lot out of a lot of guys to actually make it. The heats were quite tough as well. But it started off faster than I imagined. I thought we might have had some of those characteristic first uncomfortable opening laps, but it really looked like there was a definite tactic to get to the front. Don't leave it, you know, to that kick finish, because I think a lot of these guys will be thinking about Jakob Ingebrigtsen in particular in that 3 minutes 30 over 1,500 metres. Such is his race. If it's too much of a slow race, he loves those distance races where it starts off quite slow, it speeds up, and he's allowed to come through the field. So he'll be hoping that it's not maybe too fast, but these boys will be making sure that they run the sting out of the Ingebrigtsens.
There are definite team tactics at play here from the Ethiopians. 1, 3 and 4. Bekele leads, the fastest man in the world this year. Idris is the defending champion. And Selimon Barega is the 4th fastest in history. What a triumvirate of excellence lining up here. Paul Chelimo tracking their every move. And Jakob Ingebrigtsen just at the back of a little group. The 2 Kenyans, Kimeli and Krop, perhaps not amongst the biggest names in Kenyan 5,000 metre running, but they too are still in touch, and we do have 2 distinct groups working here. Worth giving mention to Mohamed Ahmad, the Canadian. He's managed to go with the pace, and so too is the other American, Hassan Mead. And now Barega takes it on. 2:39 for the first kilometre. They are determined to turn this into an honest race, and that is why, with just a mile on the clock, we are in pretty much single file. 4:16 for the first mile. This is great running, and this is fast, and the Ethiopians have clearly decided they need to run the sting out of everyone else here. Barega, Chelimo, Idris and Bekele. Stuart McSwain, that's Heinrich Ingebrigtsen. Stuart McSwain is coming up onto Mead's shoulder. The Australian has had a great season. He's moved on immeasurably since finishing 5th in the Com Games last year. He's got his 1500 PB down to 3:31. He now leads a little chase group, including Philip Ingebrigtsen. Heinrich is way off the back. He's arguably not in the shape he was when he won the European title in 2012. Jenny, they're really going for this. This pace is searing, and they're producing some casualties here as they come round with 7 to go.
Yeah, we spoke, didn't we, in the heats about how the final would go, and we spoke about this being the first World Championship since 2003 that Usain Bolt is not attending, and this is the first championship since 2005 which doesn't feature Mo Farah. Of course, Mo has been dominant for so many years, but Idris took pay to that in London, claiming that gold medal. No one knew what to do when they raced against Mo Farah, but here is quite different. He's not here. A lot of guys fancy their shot at this title, but this race looks like they're really worried about Jakob Ingebrigtsen for me, and they're trying to run the sting out of him.
Well, this is fast, isn't it? 61.5 for that lap. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, his brother Philip, doing their best to stay with the pace. Bekele, the fastest man in the world this year, taking his turn at the front. And look at Paul Chelimo. Kimeli and Krop are still there, and Jakob and Philip have been talking to each other. I'm not saying it's a full-on conversation, but they were acknowledging the tactics between the two of them. The 2 Norwegians have closed the gap, and perhaps the pace has slowed just a fraction as we come round now with 5 to go. And the slower this gets, Jenny, the more this does play into the hands of the likes of Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Maybe this is going to turn into a real burn-up. 2:38, it's 7:53 at 3K, and the 2 brothers, Heinrich's off the back, but these 2 have reattached themselves, and now Paul Chelimo decides to go to the front. Enough's enough. Let's put the throttle back down and see what you've got.
Chelimo looked good, didn't he? He had a great kick finish in the heats. He finished without his shoe. That came off at some point. And even without a shoe, he managed to find a burning kick that no one could live with. So he's at the front, followed by Philip Ingebrigtsen, followed by Jakob. And we've got the Ethiopians, we've got the Kenyans. Everybody's queuing up now. The pace has definitely dropped. so many people are back in with this race.
You could put a blanket over the first dozen. They started off with a definitive tactic and they've not followed it through. Barega, remember, is still a teenager. He's run 12:43. Someone has got to take this on. The two Kenyans are still there. So too Mukhtar Idris, the defending champion, although maybe he looks like he's beginning to struggle just a touch. Barega moves round at the 1500 start, and the Ethiopians are going absolutely wild. There's a sheen of sweat on the back of the teenager. And look at Paul Chelimo doing what he's done the entire race, sitting in second as Jakob Ingebrigtsen now boxes Chelimo. And the youngster from Norway tried to give himself an opportunity to do something very, very special. This is gearing up for a huge, huge finish with just over 3 laps to go.
Yeah, still 10 men involved with just 3 laps to go. 1,200 metres of running, and what will we find in just over 1,000 metres? This looks like it could be a surge to the front there from Ahmed from Canada. He's still in with it with 3 laps to go.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen trying to break the dominance of the Ethiopians and the Kenyans. The crowd respond once more. There's massive talent in this group. Many global medalists, European medalists, some of the fastest men in history. I'm talking about Barega on the left. The Norwegians in the crowd are getting excited. They still have 2 in this. Jakob's getting a bit boxed here. There are some elbows flying. And still Paul Chelimo right on the shoulder of the leader, who is Mohamed Ahmed at the moment. And there's a little over half a mile to go.
Yeah, 4,000 metres gone now in this 5,000 metre race. Just coming up with 2 laps to go. It's still the Canadian from the Ingebrigtsen brothers. Chelimo looks promising there in 4th position.
2 laps to go in the final of the 2019 men's 5,000 metres. Selemon Barega, the 4th fastest in history, is on Philip Ingebrigtsen's shoulder. But it's Ahmed, the Canadian, who got his heel clipped there by Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who leads with 700 to go. Paul Chelimo, silver in Rio, bronze in London, has been a shadow on the shoulder of the leader for the entire race. The expatriated Kenyan, who's made a happy life in the United States, is in 2nd place, and there's bumping and barging going on. Jakob Ingebrigtsen got his heels clipped by Barega. It's understandable. This is the World Championship final. There's a huge amount at stake here. Philip Ingebrigtsen has stepped off the track. Maybe his role was to pacemate Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Coming round now with just over 400 to go. This is world-class distance running, and there's another bump and barge between Ahmed and Jakob. They take the bell in the final of the men's 5,000 metres. Such heart, such passion. This is great racing. Their eyeballs out, hundreds of miles for years and years, just for this opportunity to shine on the global stage. Jakob Ingebrigtsen has got the bit between his teeth here. Idris, the defending champion, trying to find a way through. So too Barega. And the 4th fastest man in history is closing. Paul Chelimo is rocking and rolling for the first time. And so too is Ahmed. Jakob looks over his shoulder again. It's Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Selemon Barega, Mukhtar Idris, the defending champion. What a race, what a finishing prospect. Jakob's got to hang on because Ahmed of Canada's gone past him. Mukhtar Idris, from nowhere, with no form at all, is going to successfully defend his title. It's a 1-2 in glorious fashion for Ethiopia. Barega takes the silver, and what an incredible bronze medal for Mohamed Ahmed of Canada. Jakob Ingebrigtsen is on the track, inconsolable. He did everything he could. It wasn't to be the fairy tale finish for one of the 3 brothers, but Mukhtar Idris, from nowhere, has beaten the 4th fastest man in history, Selemon Barega, and it's a glorious 1-2 for the proud East African nation. What a race, what drama, and what a finish. We'll rarely see a more dramatic 5,000 metres than that. It was sensational, live and exclusive here in Doha.
Well, Idris did not show anything all season long, and he didn't show as much in that final either. With 2 laps to go, he looked like he was struggling, but he must have just kept that belief. And I think he may be a surprise of any of us here in this stadium. He's retained that World Championship title, and the crowd, the Ethiopian crowd, fantastic scenes there. So many flags flying around the stadium, cameras out, people will remember where they were at this moment. Idris, a fantastic gold medal there for Ethiopia, and Barega, his teammate, claiming the silver, and a fantastic medal for Ahmed. He fully deserved it, did a lot of work, 3 or 4 laps out. He's got another medal for Canada. They're having a great championships already on day 4 of this World Athletics final.
Look at these images. There are many thousands of East Africans in this stadium. There are people here, they are watching, they are enjoying it, and they realise they've witnessed a really special race. Just over 3 miles, and it was utterly absorbing from start to finish. The 4th evening has been lit up by this incredible Ethiopian who somehow, from somewhere, found the form he produced 2 years ago to beat Mo Farah to win the title once again. Great scenes here in Doha. It was just inside 13 minutes. Quite frankly, who cares about the time? That had a little bit of everything. And I noticed Philip Ingebrigtsen stepped off the track with 500 to go. I think the 2 other brothers had said, listen, you're the one who's got the chance. We'll do everything to put you in pole position. He was brave, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, but it just wasn't quite to be for him. But what a run, and what teamwork from the Ethiopians.
Yeah, they've still got energy, haven't they? And Idris looked like he had no energy earlier in the race, but he can still find the energy to do his victory lap. He was dancing at the end, and this is being really appreciated by the crowd here. Oh, this is the making of a champion. When you look dead and buried in a race, you've not had the season you wanted, and you can still come back and perform like that.
What a race and what a finish. Mukhtar Idris becomes only the 3rd man in history to successfully defend the title. Selemon Barega took the silver, and a true moment of history for the Canadians. Mohamed Ahmad completes the podium. Bekele, the fastest man in the world this year, misses out. So too does the brave European champion Jakob Ingebrigtsen, 5th this time for him.